Sarah's mom! Hey! Is now a good time?
Hey, Leo's mom. I'm on my lunch break right now, so it's fine.
Huh? Your lunch break. Does that mean you have a job?
That's right. I'm on my break at the minute.
Oh dear. I did have my suspicions, but it looks like I was right.
You were right? About what?
Your household is poor, right?
What? Why?
I mean, I get the impression your husband doesn't make much money.
Based on what?
He always goes to work in those worn-out clothes. And isn't a single room a bit of a cramped place to live for a family of 3? What's more, if your husband's on such a low salary that you have to work too, he must be a real good-for-nothing, no? How tragic!
No, we're not struggling to get by as much as you seem to think. I've been working at this company since before we got married.
Oh dear, I see. So even if you wanted to quit, you wouldn't be able to because of your scruffy good-for-nothing husband!
No, those clothes are a hobby of his.
Wearing worn-out clothes is a hobby?
He likes clothes with a damaged look.
That's actually a pretty good excuse. Lol. Oh well. I suppose that's what you get for choosing him in the first place.
Like I said, we're not struggling to get by as much as you seem to think.
But you can't make ends meet without the both of you working?
Both me and my husband are in positions of responsibility at our respective workplaces.
Maybe so, but a position of responsibility could mean all sorts of things. For example, being a factory manager at the biggest company in the region, like my husband. Oh, by the way, did you know he got promoted just as we moved here? It's hard to be a stay-at-home housewife in this day of age if your husband doesn't have a job like that, huh?
So was there a reason you contacted me?
Oopsie, forgive me. So you know how we only moved here a month ago? We were thinking of buying an extra cabinet and some shelves for the house. But we don't know where to get them. But of course, we can't go buy anything cheap.
In that case, how about checking out the furniture shop on the bypass? Naturally, they have domestically made stuff. But they also have trendy foreign furniture too. I recommend it.
Oh, really?
You should be able to get there on one stop from the bus station near your house.
You know a lot for someone so poor. Thanks! I didn't think it'd be nice if we went together, but that's probably no can do if you're at work.
Sorry, it's rush hour for us now. I can't clock off early without a good reason.
I see. Oh well, it can't be helped. I'm sure you could take every last hour you can get to scrape by whatever money you can.
I'm gonna head back to work now, so was that all?
Yeah, sorry, I kept you for so long.
Bye. Leo's mom, do you have a minute?
I do. What is it?
Sarah wouldn't stop crying when I went to pick her up after kindergarten today.
Oh?
When the teacher asked her why, apparently she told him Leo said,
You'll catch pox if you play with poor people.
What have you been telling him?
Oh, come on. Don't get so upset. I'm just teaching my son the rules of the world.
Rules?
Actually, it might be hard to understand for a low-income family.
Excuse me?
After all, I heard you hardly ever show up to our mother's meetings, where we all go out for lunch or tea.
Well, I'm working, so I can't do weekdays.
Which means, like me and the other wealthy moms who can afford to be stay-at-home housewives, you can't make ends meet unless both of you and your husband are out working.
I do my best to tag along when they invite me on my days off.
But it's true that your attendance rate is low. Basically, you use your job as a pretext not to go so you can keep the expenses down. You know, it's difficult for us to get along with people with such drastically lower standards of living because we have to be careful not to upset you. That's why I'm sorry, but please join a group of low-class moms instead.
Low-class moms? I mean, I don't really care, but I don't think you should be indoctrinating your children with your own prejudices.
Good grief, you just don't get it, do you? Associating with poor children is bad for my son's intellectual and cultural development. It's a parent's duty to keep a watchful eye and choose good friends for their child.
Oh, by the way, I heard you said the same things to Aya's mom because she's a single mother. You should stop teaching your children to discriminate against people because of perceived notions of superiority and inferiority based on how much money they make.
Yeah. If you're going to make comments like that, at the very least, wait until you've improved your standard of living to the point that your husband doesn't have to wear worn-out clothes. Sarah's mom! I see your husband's going to work in worn-out clothes as usual. Poor people are so tragic.
Good evening. Whether you insult me out of the blue is your business, but at least say hello first.
I have an example to share with you of what it's like to be a real celebrity. So I very kindly decided to message you.
Please, go ahead. Now that you mention it, you haven't messaged me in over a month. And you ignored me when I went to pick up my daughter from the kindergarten. Apparently, you were also whispering something about worn-out clothes when my husband went to pick her up after work.
Good grief, stop sulking. You should feel honored that a celebrity like me is even talking to you.
So, what do you want? I'll be getting ready for bed soon.
Oh, do forgive me. It just so happened that the CEO of the company my husband works for invited the two of us to go to his house on Sunday.
Okay, so what?
Apparently, it's a housewarming party. To celebrate the completion of the new two-family house for him to live in with his daughter and her husband. All of the company's top executives are invited. My husband's a factory manager, so of course he'll be going. And guess what? I heard his daughter and future successor, the managing director, is the same age as me. I can't see any harm in us getting along.
I see. Well, I hope it ends up being that easy for you.
Good grief, you're not jealous, are you? I suppose being from a family so poor the breadwinner has to wear clothes full of holes. You wouldn't possibly be able to appreciate the inner workings of the celebrity world. Lol. Looks like the gap in status between us got even bigger. I do hope you can forgive me. Oh, I just can't wait for Sunday. Sarah's mom? What are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, Leo's mom, hey.
Not hey! How on earth did you sneak in here? You can't do that! A daft groveler like you shouldn't be mingling with us in here. On top of that, I just saw you being all pally with the CEO, the owner of this house. What the hell are you scheming?
Scheming?
Oh no, you didn't! Are you having an affair? Aiming to marry into money, are we?
Oh, come on. There's no way I'd do that. Your thinking's gone way off the deep end.
Whatever. I don't give a damn about that reason. Hurry up and get out. It's embarrassing for me as a mother of the same kindergarten as you.
Even if you tell me to go.
Come on, make it snappy.
Why do I have to get out of my own house?
What? Don't talk such nonsense. This house belongs to the CEO of the company my husband works at as a factory manager. I know you're probably tired from living in a life of poverty, but I think your delusions have gotten out of control.
I'm not delusional at all. This is my house.
Didn't I just tell you?
This is the two-family house me and my husband had built, so we could live with my dad.
What?
If you don't believe me, why don't you ask your husband, the factory manager? They see each other all the time at work, both being executives and all, so he'll tell you straight away.
Executives? Huh? Wait a second. What you're saying makes no sense. What about the one-room apartment you're living in?
The floor plan does include a one-room studio, but there's also a 5-room apartment attached. Me and my family are living in the 5-room apartment. It was only ever a place for us to stay temporarily while this place was being built, so we moved out last week.
Huh? What? But I never heard anything about that.
Yeah, because I never told you.
Why didn't you say something earlier? How awful of you to keep quiet this whole time.
You mean like, hey, my dad's the CEO. Guess what? My husband's the managing director? We're hardly familiar enough for me to tell you every detail of my private life.
What?
Besides, would you even have believed me if I told you? Wouldn't you just call me delusional without listening to a word I said no matter what I told you?
No, that was...
So, not correcting you was intentional. It's enough for me that my other mom friends, who I get along with, understand.
Huh? No way! That can't be! You can say what you like, but I know you've already been excluded from the other mom groups.
Even since the beginning, me and those moms you got along with so well since Leo's first day at kindergarten were never friends at all.
Huh? But aren't the celebrity moms the boss mom group at kindergarten? How can there be moms you can get along with when you're ostracized from the boss mom group? Isn't that a little odd? Explain yourself.
You do know that boss mom is just a name they gave themselves, right?
What? It is?
Sure. They can come from rich households. But you could say they're a little bit quirky. You'll probably understand better if you just think of them as the group who doesn't fit in with the other moms.
You're kidding! That's how the group formed? But what about your husband? What about those worn-out clothes? Surely he had no need to dress like that if his wife was really as important as you claimed you are.
Like I said, they're made to look damaged. It's fashion. He wears them because he likes them.
What? Fashion?
My husband also works for a company as their fashion designer. They have a free dress code, so he's free to coordinate his outfits in line with his taste as much as he likes.
I don't understand.
By the way, the guy in the tailored jacket speaking to my dad, the CEO right now.
Oh, that handsome devil?
That's my husband.
No, that can't be. He's the man who wears the ripped clothes?
I told you, they're made to look that way. He is capable of discerning the time and place to wear certain things, so relax.
But...
Excuse me. My dad's asking me to give an address to the group. I have to go now. Bye. My dad called me over as I was messaging on my phone in the corner. As I gave my speech with mic in hand, I caught sight of Leo's mom quietly sneaking out. I did wonder if she'd give up, but at the beginning of next week, she did a spectacular about-face and was suddenly trying to make everyone think we were best friends. However, word of her attitude had already spread by then, so all the other moms had had enough of her. She even got kicked out of the self-proclaimed boss mom group, and now she's completely alone. On the other hand, our kids are getting along just fine now. I'm so relieved about that. A few days later, her husband, the factory manager, apologized to me profusely. After seeing his wife's lying chat history and wanting to keep a closer eye on her around Leo, he decided they all move in with his parents. I'm fairly certain it's not a two-family house, though. Good luck, Leo's mom.
Well, bro, I'm sorry to say it. I really never thought this day would finally come, but here we are. We've had a good run, but I'm afraid this is goodbye forever. I never want to hear from you again.
Wait, what? I know we don't text that often, but what is this all about?
I mean that I got married, and I'm cutting you out of my life, Ricardo.
Pablo, is everything okay?
What's that supposed to mean, huh?
You mean that ever since you graduated from med school and started working as a doctor, you've been acting different. It just feels like you keep trying to go from one goal to another ever since then.
What does that even mean?
I mean, like just now, for example. We live in the same house and you just dropped the news on your big brother that you got married? I don't get it. I feel like there are things that you aren't telling me. Other than the obvious big things.
And just why should I have to tell you every little detail about my life, huh? You know what your problem is? You dropped out of high school just so that you could start working early. The fact is that there are so many things that you don't know, and I don't have time to teach them to you.
If you're upset with me, that's fine, but I just want you to tell me what's going on with you. Please, can't we just talk?
Fine, you want an explanation? Here's what's going on. I'm now married to the daughter of the director of the hospital that I'm working at.
Wow, well that's pretty impressive. I mean, doesn't that guy come from a long line of doctors?
You mean you know about my hospital director?
I mean, that family has basically ran that hospital for as long as I can remember. They're a pretty famous bunch.
Well, good. Then this will make it easier to explain. Yes, I am married to the daughter of that famous doctor, and that basically means that I'm guaranteed to be the next director.
Are you sure about that? I thought that you were still doing some kind of residency or something, right?
And so what if I am?
Look, I really don't know about how all this medical stuff works, but I would just be careful about going around half-cocked declaring yourself the next hospital director.
So basically, you're jealous? Is that what's going on? You have no idea how things work in my field.
I really don't, but I'm just trying to give you some brotherly advice.
How about you just stick to the things you do know about? Got it? I'm the only one of us who's a doctor. And the fact of the matter is so many people from my graduating class came from wealthy families. But this girl, she is my ticket to glory. But first, I need to cut you off so nothing is holding me back.
Can you even prove yourself as a doctor among a whole family of doctors?
Well, not everyone is a doctor. My new wife is just a receptionist, but even she went to college.
And is that all that matters to you? What the last level of education someone got was?
Just can it already, would you? Look, I need you to move out of the house.
And just why would I do something like that?
Because my wife wants to move into our place. since it's closer to the hospital than where she is right now. But I can't let her know the embarrassing truth.
And just what would this embarrassing truth be, I wonder?
Well, it's the fact that I have some sweaty, smelly, blue-collar older brother, of course. If she knew the type of people that I came from, there's no way she would ever let me into her world of wealth and power. I know that your job barely even pays you, but surely you can afford some kind of crappy little apartment for yourself, right?
You know, I've been working a long, long time. Maybe you forgot him, but I was the one who paid for you to go to medical school. I think that I can afford an apartment for myself.
Well, good. Then get out already. I told you to pack up your bags and leave, and I meant it.
Are you sure about this? You really want me to go? This is your last chance to change your mind if you're not sure.
Of course I do. If you stay any longer, it'll just be that harder to air your stink out of the house.
Well, okay, if you're sure about this, I guess I'll go then.
And don't ever come back, you bottom feeder.
Hey there, Kathy. I'm really sorry to be telling you all of this so late, but I moved out of my house.
Wait, what? What happened?
Well, last night I slept in a motel, but I'm gonna be moving my stuff into a new apartment where I'll live from now on.
Ricardo, tell me what happened. Is everything okay? I thought that you were worried about your sick mom, and that's why you stayed in your old house for so long. I mean, for all these years, ever since your dad died. You dropped out of high school and have been working to support your whole family. How did all of this happen?
I know it's a lot to take in, but I talked to my mom and have moved out for now. I think once things settle down, I'll try and take her with me too.
But can't you just tell me what happened?
Well, to make a long story short, my brother wants to cut me out of his life and pretend that I don't exist so that he can try to curry favor with his new wife's family, who are a bunch of rich, famous doctors, and he thinks that I'll ruin his chances of that. Yeah, I think I summed it up pretty nicely, actually.
Wait, what? What kind of crazy soap opera is your life ripped out of? That's crazy! Your brother married into a bunch of doctors?
That's right. In fact, he actually married your cousin, Aaron.
Wait a second. I only heard that Aaron got married a couple nights ago. But I had no idea that it was to your little brother.
So it sounds like even your side of the family hasn't heard much about any of this, huh?
Maybe they were planning to make the big announcement at our family reunion next month? But wait! I thought that Aaron was dating some guy who worked at the pharmaceutical company she works for.
Oh, really? I have no idea.
Well, I remember that about 2 months ago, she brought a guy home and said that he was her boyfriend. They were even already talking about getting married.
Well, something must be going on then.
I mean, I wasn't actually there to meet him, but I remember she told me that he was a coworker, and your brother is a doctor. I guess that she must have been running around on someone.
It must have been this coworker guy, since Pablo and her seem to be married.
I don't know. I still feel like something is off here.
Well, I can certainly see Pablo doing something sneaky like this, but what about Aaron?
No, I don't know. Erin has always seemed like a rather serious and reasonable girl. But changing who she was going to marry and then getting married so quickly just doesn't seem like her.
Well then, how did she and my brother end up getting married? If your cousin really is the type of person that you think she is, then I can't see why she would get with someone like my brother.
You know, Now that you say that, I haven't actually been able to get a hold of Erin for the past month or so. I even sent her a message congratulating her on her wedding, but she hasn't even opened it.
Something is for sure going on then.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it.
Well, good luck and be safe. If you need any help or anything like that, just let me know.
Of course. Thanks for talking to me about this. I really appreciate it. I will let you know about any developments, okay? Ricardo, are you there? You're not gonna believe this, but I finally heard back from Erin.
Oh, really? What did she say?
Well, apparently, my uncle and Pablo are away on a conference right now. And it was her only chance she had to talk to me.
But what did she tell you?
Well, between what I found out on my own and what Erin told me, things are pretty bad. But I think that I'm going to need your help. So maybe it would be better to talk about this in person? You aren't working today, right? Maybe I could bring Erin and the three of us could talk together. Could we all head over to your place?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Just let me know when you guys are at the front door and I'll let you in.
Hey, Ricardo, thanks again so much for today.
Don't thank me. I'm so sorry for what Pablo did. I can't believe he would go that far just to marry Erin the way he did. We need to move fast and try and save her as soon as we can.
I'm so happy you feel that way. Yes, we are going to do this.
Hey, Ricardo, do you have any idea where Mom is right now?
Oh, Pablo. I thought you said you never wanted to speak to me again.
Just shut up and tell me where Mom is right now.
Well, she's here with me, actually.
What? Why is she with you? What's going on here, huh?
You know, I've been paying for the majority of all three of our expenses for years now. So when I left the house, I knew there was no way that I could just leave Mom there with you. Especially when she makes so little for herself from her job.
What are you talking about? Sure, you may have helped me out a little when I was going to school, but I've never taken anything from you now that I'm a doctor.
Are you kidding me, right? You think I'm gonna take that from the guy who has never contributed more than around $200 a month to expenses?
What's wrong with that? That's plenty of money.
Do you realize that every month we have to pay about $850 to live at that house? $200 isn't nearly enough for anything.
What are you even talking about? What's your point?
I mean that at the end of the month, that house needs to be empty.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that we were renting that place under my name, but now that I'm gone, I've canceled the lease on the place. And Mom said that she wanted to come and live with me. If you want to move into a place with your new wife, you're gonna have to find one on your own.
Wait, just hold on for a second. I need to think.
Think about what?
Well, I think that Erin and I are going to get a divorce soon, and I think that I'm going to have to quit my job at the hospital.
Huh? Things are moving way faster than I expected.
What do you mean by that?
But I guess I shouldn't have expected anything less from my girl.
Ricardo, what are you talking about? What is this?
Did you know that one of the relatives of your mother-in-law has hired a private investigator to look into you?
Excuse me, what?
I said what I said. And he found out all about the hospital director's affair with that young nurse. Or should I say nurses, but so did you. And you used that information to try and blackmail your boss and force him to let you marry his daughter. But before you could do that, you also had to make sure that she broke up with her fiancé. The real man that she wanted to marry, who worked with her.
But I don't get... How did you find this out? Unless that girl you mentioned earlier. Are you calling her the detective? Her? You mean that you had a mole inside the family and were watching me this whole time? What's the matter with you? You're my brother.
I do not want to be called your brother anymore.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that yesterday, Aaron's parents got a divorce because of your father-in-law's affairs.
Wait, they did?
That's right. All because we let a little info leak.
How could you do that? How could you ruin my plan?
Don't ask me, ask my girl. She's the one who said that she wanted to bring all of this to light and let the cards fall where they may. Even if that means letting you and your uncle fall in order to save her cousin. So now your father-in-law is going to step down as hospital director and soon your wife is going to leave you.
But where do you live right now?
What do you mean?
I mean that I'm out of a job and I might lose my license and I'm going to get divorced and you need to help me.
You got yourself into this mess. You get yourself out.
Please, I need you right now, bro. You can't just leave me hanging like this. I need your help right now.
Don't call me bro. You and I are not brother anymore.
Please, don't be like that.
I've had enough out of you. You're the one who wanted to shut me out of your life in the first place.
What do you mean? You know that I wasn't really serious about any of that, right?
I mean that I'm only giving you what you wanted from me. So we are not family anymore.
Ricardo, please.
After that, I heard that the reason Pablo was fired was because he was always showing up late. Always harassing the female nurses and would try to wave everything away by saying he was next in line to run things. After his divorce with Erin, she sued him for emotional distress and won. Pablo had very little in the ways of saving since he always enjoyed spending money, and with his reputation ruined, he left the state. About a year later, I heard from a college on a business trip that he thought he saw someone who might be my brother, but I didn't bother to look into it. Instead, Kathy, my mom, and I are all living happily together.